Yeah, so it's on Wednesday, and yesterday was a long day. And but it was such a beautiful day. When you live long enough, you learn to appreciate. And usually, I hate being out in the rain. But I said if I woke up, I was actually praying about going to this funeral, right? I'm like, Lord, if it's meant for me to go, good. I did not want to drive to Apple Valley. I got a niece live in Victorville, and Victorville is like past Hesperia, but like not too far. Two X's over maybe. However, by the time, just when you're about tired of driving to Victorville or Hesperia, you get there. And going up is usually way better than coming back. Because coming back, you got to go down this hill. hmm And the hill is horrible. I got to quit eating this peanut butter right now. So, but I left at 10. The thing started at 9. I left at 10 something. No, not at no 10. And I had to go past Victorville. And my brother lived in Apple Valley, but not that deep. But the horrible part about him living there, you did guy had to go about 8 to 10 miles more to get to his house. But this place was worse. Anyway, looking at the news is depressing. Anyway, so I had to go past where my niece lived. While I was driving, I called my friend that lived in Hesperia, and I told her, send me her address so I can come see her. She lives in her son's house. He bought some brand new house. He bought some years ago. So I did that, and so, but that was yeah. I just got the information, so I wouldn't have to be calling her on the way home, which is where I was going to stop by her house for a minute. Now, got there, people was coming out the church. I said, okay, I got to get out and see who I can see. And first person I ran into was the lady I sat by at the repast, which is interesting. And she said, hey, Twyla, I know you don't remember me. And then when I looked at her, I did remember her, but I was getting ready to call her sister's name, Lydia. She says, Sarah. Sarah. I said, okay, yeah, I know Lydia or Sarah. But Sarah is older than Lydia. Anyways, and she said, I came from San Diego. I was like, girl. But people will do that if they like a person, if they respect a person. They will do it. And so so I let her go. I got an obituary because the usher had a handful. Usually, that's all these funerals, I'm telling you. You go there, it ain't enough obituaries. They saving obituaries for certain people and silly stuff. So I got the obituary from the ushers, or the usher lady. And then I went in the church looking for his wife, but she was outside. And so then I asked her, this girl looked just like her. It turned out to be her daughter. I said, where's his wife? And she said she's in the car. They're getting ready to go to the gravesite. Because I'm thinking they cremated him. Because they had his, what they call that? Wake or whatever they call it. We don't call it wake. We call it a viewing. Because they had that at a crematory place. I said, they cremated him? Just didn't seem right for him. And so then after she told me the wife was in the car, she yelled out, okay, everybody get in your cars, because we getting ready to drive to the cemetery, and that's going to be 1 hour, 45 minutes. And I was like, where are they going? But I had to leave. I had to be back here by before 3:30. And so I need to get a new charger. So before 3:30. So I didn't even know nothing because I had just got the obituary and I didn't, So I'm on the freeway and I just said, let me look at this obituary. So I wasn't trying to read it. I just scamming because the traffic was moving slow, but I still be paying attention. I'm a very good driver. Even though I be making videos driving, I pay attention and I know what I'm doing. I'm watching my speed. So I'm safe on that. So anyway, I'm looking and I see they buried him in Riverside at the National Cemetery. So that's the Veterans Cemetery. So that let me know he was a vet, which I didn't know that. It let me know he was a vet. And he was buried in Riverside. And so I said, okay, that's why she said that. Because Riverside is way south and they are way north, going up toward Vegas. You're only about 2 hours from Vegas, from where they live. So I said, okay. Then I read where, I said, they said Repast, Doubletree Hotel, Hilton, Ontario, California. I was like, they having a formal repast. I said, oh, that's nice. And if it's on the program, that means everybody invited. If it was secret and only certain people can come, it wouldn't have been on the program. So I was like, wow. I said, but I ain't going to be able to get to that because I had to do what I had to do by 4 o'clock. Then I had to, so I'm thinking, but they left the church about 12. So it's going to take 2 hours. So that was 1, 2. And I know a military thing don't last too long, but they do it like a little ceremony. I think you choose the preacher and they do some stuff. Probably did the 21 gun salute. So they had to be there a good 25, 30 minutes. Then they had to get out of there, get on the freeway in the rain, coming from Riverside to this way, which can be horrible because you just get caught up in pockets of traffic. So I'm thinking it's a possibility they could still be there. But, so I went and did what I had to do, came back, and went straight to the Hilton. And when I got there, I went in, and I called to see if it was going on. The lady didn't know. Well, she knew it was going on, but she wouldn't know if it was still going on. Anyway, I went in, but she told me to check the event board when I go in. And I checked the event board, and it had Celebration of Life, Samuel Gabriel McDaniel. And then I went that way, and the man told me, I said, is this where the, and he said, yes, it's going on. And I said, thank you. And I went in, this big, beautiful ballroom, 2 tables on each side, and a walkway in the middle, and straight at the end, at the front of the room, end of the room, the food. So I saw Sarah again, because I thought she was probably driving back to San Diego. So she was there. That lady did a lot of driving. So she was there, and I sat with her and her husband. And I went up and got my food, and the food would look so good. They had two types of fancy salads, wet salads. They were so good. Beet salad, then and something else. Then they had the lettuce salad. Then they had the bread. Then they had vegetables, some kind of really soft vegetable. Then they had some couscous. They had some potatoes roasted, cut in half and roasted. And then they had, I'm leaving out something, but they also had some bread, if I didn't say that. Then they had, and the bread was inside a steamer. Then they had some kind of chunk chicken breast with a sauce, white sauce. And they had some sliced beef that I think was steak. But it could have been anything, but I don't think it was. I know it wasn't prime rib. It looked like sliced steak though. And so I got some of each with mushrooms. The steak had mushrooms and gravy. For dessert, they had these bars, dessert bars. Um, lemon bars. And then they had one that was sweet potato or pumpkin. I sat with Sarah. Sarah said, I can't. And it was very nice of her. She told me, all the food is good. That's why I even went to get my food. So that let me know, she didn't tell me that, look out for this or look out for that. She said, all the food is good. So I went and did that. And I don't know who that was. So, yeah, it was really nice. And me and Sarah were talking. And she comes from a big family. Her mother's name was Ida Mae Ayers, and her father was, I can't remember her father's name at the moment. My mind is Deacon Ayers. Ayers is his name, of course. And I just thought these people were rich, and they were rich for that time. They were. They brought a whole row of chairs in the church. Our church, we didn't have pews. You know that long thing, bench people sit on? Mm-mm. And it's a good thing we didn't have pews, because pews can be uncomfortable. But Bishop McMurray ordered theater seats. Everybody had their individual seat, theater seat. So, and you had to, and now you didn't have to. You could buy the seats. So a lot of people who had money back then, they bought chairs. And it was just an act of love for people to come and worship. And they had a nice, comfortable place to sit. And when you sit, just like a theater, you sit down in a seat. And, it was just nice. They were so comfortable. Now the Spanish people don't bought that church. And they haven't kept up with, those chairs. So a lot of them got problems. Anyway, but they still had those seats, which they could have reupholstered and all that and fixed. But they ain't done that. Anyways, her family bought 10 or 20 of those seats at $75 a seat. Okay? That was so nice. And other people bought seats. Some people bought 2. Some people bought 10. Some people bought 7. Some people probably bought 100. Who knows? But we had a beautiful sanctuary with theater seats, thanks to Sister Ayers and her husband, Deacon Ayers. They both deceased. Great people. I saw Sister Ayers when I was in very pleasant memory. I was going to church. I couldn't go to church in the daytime because I had to work. So I said, I'm going to go to this other church. It was a UPC church that I had saw. They had night service. And I'm used to night service. So I went to night service. All right. So I went to night service. And I'm sitting in the night service. And I noticed I'm in this church. And I'm looking around. And it's not that I had Jezebel makeup on, but I noticed nobody had on any type of earring, or just everybody was just low key, like back in the day. Nobody wore makeup and all that. So I looked around. And I said, "Oh, nobody have on any type of." Okay, so I didn't want to offend nobody. So I reached down and wiped off my lipstick. And then the pastor came down and he kneeled by my seat and he introduced himself. And I told him who I am. And he said, "Oh, I got a tall daughter named Twyla." He was white. And then I looked up. He went back to his seat. I looked up, and who coming to sing is Diane, her Sarah's sister, Sister Era's daughter. So I was like, Diane. And I was so happy to see that. So then I saw Diane after, so I ran up to her so quick. And then the pastor invited me to his daughter's wedding, but I didn't go for some reason. But I saw Diane, I ran up to her, and I said, "Where's your mom? How's your mom?" And she said, "She's upstairs in the balcony." I said, "What?" Okay. I turned around, I looked, and I saw Sister Ayers up there. And she had on a beret, a French beret. And I ran up there and unbelieved. This is the woman of God, you know. Unbelieved. She was rough now she was strict. She didn't play. But she's a woman of God now. And I went up there and I was like, "Sister Ayers." Yeah, I don't know what I called her. Probably says she didn't mind you. She was on. See, real people, real men and women of God, they don't mind if you call them by their name. You ain't gotta say this one that and this evangelist this and bishop that or what. When they humble, you can just mess around and call them by their real name, by their name. So I said, "Sister Ayers, how you doing? You look well." And she said, "Yeah, you do too. How you doing, Twyla?" She knew exactly who I am. And she said, what you doing here? I said, "I moved here, and da-da-da. And she said, "Yeah, I've been here 20 years. I've been living in Vegas for 20 years. I wonder why she moved to Vegas." She said, "I've been here for 20 years. And I don't even know what a strip is." And then she said, what she say? And she said, "I don't take," oh yeah, I remember this. She said, "I don't take a pill for nothing. God been good to me. I don't take a pill." That's what she said. And then she said, "I only eat chicken, turkey, and fish, and vegetables." I was like, "Wow, Sister Ayers, that's a blessing." And then I think this was like in 2004 or 2005. And she could have been almost 80 then, or yeah, so I so regret. I did not know when she died. I didn't go to her funeral. I didn't know. We didn't have Facebook then. And so, yeah, so, sorry, I don't know, I just told you that's the situation. But yeah, the wedding, not the wedding, the funeral was beautiful, I'm sure. And the repast was excellent, full of love, nobody acting funny, everybody felt welcome. And I love the tape they did on Brother Samuel, or the video. And they played that all throughout the repast. And I taped that whole thing for myself. Plus the daughter emailed it to me or texted to me. So I got that. So he lived a very meaningful, wonderful life. He helped a lot of kids go through college. They said education was stressed in their family. And so maybe all his brothers and sisters went to college. I don't know. And some of them were younger and some of them were older. And I met the older sister, and me and her talked and talked, and we would probably still be talking. She was a joy to talk to. But I had to go to the ladies' room. So our conversation got cut short, and I didn't see her again. And then I ended up leaving. So it was very nice yesterday. So that's how I say a good day, a rainy day can be a good day. A rainy day can be a good day. So I got to celebrate his life. Okay. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Later.